your car.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jordan, and we are back. Another NR2003 video. This time, it's TDR Cup Series action at Chicagoland. So we got 107 laps of this race, and you see up there I've got the overlay, so you can actually see where I'm running and what lap we're on without having to hit me having to hit the space bar and check. So I did figure that out now. I started this race on lap 4. I had some stuff going on, so I didn't start the race on time. And I'm actually rolling off pit row 4 laps down to take my first laps of the race here. I didn't get to practice either, so this was all new to me. So we'll go on board with me right here. The only thing I can really do at this point is just be patient. Just get by maybe a car or two, and then just hope for some cautions, because that's the only way I'm going to gain back 4 laps. You're not going to beat the level of drivers I'm racing against here by 4 laps. So the only hope for me is just wait for cautions. And boy, oh boy, would I ever get my wish there, and a lot more. So first couple corners, go on board here and watch my Ryan Priest abilities. And missed the wreck, and in avoiding it, I go up and scrape the wall. Got myself some damage, as you can see there on the right side, but nothing major, just moderate damage in TDR. So I was able to actually come down pit row here. See me rolling slowly to my pit lane, and there's, I think, the 037 flying around. He's through the grass. I'll pull into my pit stall. Go ahead. Might as well get 4 tires, and we can get the free pass here. We'll fix the damage. You see my crew just working around the car. And yeah, apparently they're sorcerers or wizards of some sort, and are able to actually fix my car back to brand new on the right side with nobody being over there. Incredible. So here we go. I'm rolling off pit row. Once again, I'll be starting at the back of the field, but this time I'll only be 3 laps down. So keep getting these free passes, and still going to have to be patient. 3 laps is still a lot of time, so I'm not going to gain that back unless I get it through cautions. So here we go. You see me laying back quite a ways. I don't want to get in anybody's way or start racing up there and ruin someone's day when I'm 3 laps down. So let everybody go by here. I'll start at the very back of the field, and here we go. This is lap 9 of 107, so still 97 laps to go, so a long way to go here at Chicagoland. So really easy through turns 1 and 2, just making sure no one's gonna be in my way, or I'm not gonna get in anybody's way with me being down that many laps. So we make it through the first lap with no incidents. So just gonna try to ride along right here. Take the high line just at the top of that groove, and we got a spinner down the backstretch. And I didn't think that would bring out a caution, but it did. So I think that was a 93 maybe that went around there. So we got caution number 2. That's going to bring me up to 2 laps down after I get the free pass. I'm the only car a lap down. So I think what we're going to do here is just skip ahead to the next restart. Pretty much here at Chicago, every time you have the opportunity to pit, you're probably going to take that. So I think I pitted on each one of those because tire fall off was something you really had to watch here. So once again, 2 laps down, no real reason to race for me. Don't want to get in anyone's way. I'm not racing for a position, I'm just waiting for cautions. So doing the same thing I have been doing the last few restarts. Laying way back. 4 and the 37 up in front of me. 37 gets in the wall. He starts spinning down the track, scares the bejesus out of me for the 2nd time today. I think he ended up saving it. So no caution yet. we'll keep on trucking. Go a little bit farther out. You see my nice Corsa scheme. Corsa performance exhaust. Kind of reminds me of the good old Kevin Harvick car, rookie year, of course. You see there's a whole group of cars 3 wide in the tri-oval, and that's going to end in death and destruction. So big accident here. You see me just slow way down as chaos ensues in front of me. And I will roll by on the bottom of the racetrack and then continue on my way. That's going to bring me up to 1 lap down, so I've nearly got all of my laps back, and we're only 20 laps in, so 18 of 107. So I've been on track here for about 6 minutes, and we've had 3 cautions, and that's brought me up to 3 or 4 cautions. I've lost track at this point, and I'm already 1 lap down. So I hate it for all the guys who were wrecking and getting caught up and stuff, but it ended up working out for me, at least to this point. So we'll roll around here under caution. I actually went through and edited this video prior to commentating it. The raw recording was about an hour and a half, give or take a few minutes, and this one's actually been cut down to about 44 minutes, and we may end up fast forwarding through a little bit of that. So you talk about a race time wise in which half of it at least was ran under the yellow flag. So not the best race on terms of green flag runs. Well, here early on anyway, you'll see we get to 1 green flag run much later in the race. But yeah, I don't know what was going on here early. Just don't know if it was a patience thing or if it was a track thing or a setup or what it was. I don't really personally know, because I didn't get up there and mix it up too much, especially early on in the going. So I'm still a lap down. See, I'm up to 19th. I think a couple of those guys either have damage or have retired at this point. I think the one actually blew an engine. That was totally unrelated from any accident, so or at least that I'm aware of. So I'm up to 19th. Still a lap down. So I will be the free pass if another caution occurs. And quickly we see another caution does occur coming out of the turn 4 and into the tri-oval, and this wreck goes on for a long time. So you see me and a few other cars come to almost a complete stop, and can't give those guys enough credit for using the brake pedal on the left, and no, not the clutch. That one's on the far left, using the brake pedal that's just to the left of the gas. You'll see in a lot of these leagues and races, guys just plow into wrecks, or they try to mash the gas and get through it like they're Cold Trickle in Days of Thunder. It just doesn't work. It's not safe, and you end up destroying more cars and other people's cars than you do looking cool or gaining spots. So a good job by the guys who are behind the wreck to go ahead and hit the brakes. So we're going to come down pit road again here. So like I said, it was pretty beneficial to come and get tires on every single stop. There's really not a reason not to. The way it worked out, the tire wear was pretty extreme throughout the run, so you just would burn off tires in the first few laps of a run, and it would only get worse from there. So with that caution, I'm going to be back on the lead lap. We'll have to start from the rear. Or the tail of the field. That's part of being the lucky dog. You start from the end of the longest line. See me coming off pit road, and I really do like that paint scheme. So you see green flag back in the air. Everybody taking it pretty easy on the restart at this point. But you got guys too wide up there for position. And I'm finally back on the lead lap, back in 19th. At this point, I'm still being a bit conservative. Don't want to go up there and mix it up too much. Just trying to make it through the race as cleanly as possible. And then once we get inside the last 50, 40 laps, that last green flag run, you can really start going for it. So we'll go up here, the 88 gets into the 3, and then chaos ensues. There's cars everywhere, a couple cars on their lids. Huge wreck. You see me down there scooting by on the apron. So I got through it unscathed. Yay me. One of the few. That was a huge accident. And that tore up a lot of good race cars. So here I am, I'm just rolling on the bottom. And of course we went pitted and all that, so we cycle out, and we're kind of in the mid-pack now, after everybody had to repair damage and whatnot. And we go back green. So keep an eye up there, 2 rows in front of me. There's a car with his back end ripped off, and I believe that is the 088, and it is. Keep an eye on him. So make a nice move here to the outside, carry that momentum, and the 88 starts to lose it, and I hold my breath right here, because 2 things are going to happen. Either the 88 is going to miss him and go down the track, or the 43 is going to get clipped and come directly into my nose. So I'm clinching, hold my breath, and then I thought I was by it, but nope. Insert Tokyo Drift theme music here. So I end up saving it, and you see cars tumbling over back there, doing synchronized tumbling. Apparently that's a new sport and a new way to score points here at TDR. So you'll see the back end of my car, though, destroyed after that. When I was driving from the roof cam, I felt him get into me pretty hard, ripped the wheel to the right, dropped it down to third gear, second gear, to try to get it back straight. I ended up saving it, like you saw, after the sweet Tokyo Drift style save. But yeah, so the back end of the car is pretty much destroyed after that. The front end, though, was pretty good. So speed-wise, it's probably going to be okay, but the handling and amount of downforce I was going to have through the corners was really going to be affected. And my car drove like a dirt car the rest of the race. There was a couple times I was turning right in the middle of the corner because of the lack of downforce. So after everybody gets their damage cleared up, pit stops and all that, I restart again in 8th place. So I scroll up the order here, and 8th isn't that bad. There's 17 cars running, so I'm in the top half of the field. You see the 96 go spinning there, and the caution's out again. So we just made it a corner there, and I was behind the 30, so let him back by. You don't race back to the yellow here unless it's inside 10 laps to go. But you'll see that I'm up to 7th now. So I've got the back end of my race car destroyed, and there's 17 cars running, and I'm 7th. So the attrition rate is real. So here we go, back under green. Got about 60 or so odd laps to go. See I think it was a 910, or not 910. Somebody went really high there. It's like 109, and let some people go. 30's outside of me. I'm going to slot it up in line. Again, these 1.5 miles, especially in fixed setups, very dependent on the draft. And it's all about just being patient, being smooth, staying in line. Hear me lift out of the throttle a little bit there to make sure that I gave the 43 plenty of room. And so I'll slot in line here about 6th. So the car's not too bad. So like I said, it's not driving very good, especially in the center of the corner. I'm really losing time there, I believe, and that's hurting me down the straightaways because of the loss of momentum. And we got another yellow flag. So that was, I think, in the back of the field. I'm not really sure what happened on that one. So after pit stops and what have you, I'll restart a little bit farther back in the field. Had a slow pit stop. And you see my car just didn't get a good restart there. Didn't get going. And I think that was more on me than the car. And you'll see me kind of slide it through. You can see the nose of the race car, and I'm having to really work the wheel. But ended up getting a decent run down the back straight, up to 8th. So again, just rarely inside that top 5, or top 10. Hoping I can get to the top 5. Scraped the wall there, but I didn't get any damage. Let the 3 go. Really no point in fighting people. I mean, there's still 58 laps to go at least. And then see there, I think that was a 20 got into the 21. Then I tried to save it after I had to go to the apron and not get wrecked. And I just lost all talent and destroyed the right side of my car for the second time today. So now I've got rear damage, right side damage again. I'll come down pit road, see what they can do about it. And then the crew actually is able to kind of more or less fix the right side. So, but in any case, more damage isn't helping me at this point. So come down pit road, I'll throw 4 tires on it. Why not? Fix the damage, and we'll see where we can restart here in a moment. Got pretty lucky with my pit stall here, even though I was the last car in the race. So I had the first pit stall that I came to, last pit stall on pit road, and there was nobody in front of me, and obviously there was nobody behind me. So I had a good pit stall to get in and out of, which was nice. I'm going to beat a few cars off of pit road here, but pretty much going to be at the back of the pack. And looks like we've got 14 cars now running at this point. Yeah, so I'm 11th out of 14, and there's 21 cars at the start of the race. So now we've eliminated a third of the field. And we're just over halfway. So up to 10th. You see the car's kind of difficult for me to stay with the guys who don't have a whole lot of damage. Got 1 car up in the wall, 3 had to lift, and when he entered the corner and got on the brake at the same time, he just spun right around. So once again, another caution. I don't know really what the 3 could have done there. He kind of was following a guy who got in the wall and slowed up, and then with the way the brake bias is at these 1.5 miles, when you hit the brake, sometimes the car just wants to unload on you, especially if you're trying to get on it pretty hard. So I think the best thing to do, especially on these restarts, is kind of try to maintain a little bit of a gap, maybe a car length or so that if you do have to take evasive maneuvers, you've got some room and some time to operate. You'll see I try to do that on a lot of the restarts if I'm not racing for a position late into a race. I try to leave a little bit of room in front of me so I'm able to move if people have something happen or get loose or get in the wall or whatever. Usually, once everybody gets kind of strung out like they are right now, everything's fine and you can make your move and get by people who are not quite as quick as you. So the 3 gets into the wall there, and I appreciate him trying to move that wall back for me, even though I know he's tearing up his car by doing that. So get by him. So we got the 037 in front of us again. You see that everybody's pretty much single file to this point. Just over halfway. Lap 59 of 107. But now is the time where I can start to maybe race a little bit. So you see me get up on the 37 here. We might try to take him too wide to the inside for us. But really, unless you've got a huge run on someone, I mean, there's still quite a bit of laps to go, and you've got at least one green flag pit stop, so you still have to exercise some level of patience here. See guys too wide up in front of us. Chicagoland, kind of a weird track on this game. In real life, you see the cars run right up against the wall, and in the middle of the racetrack, and on the bottom of the racetrack. This game is somewhat strange as far as Chicagoland goes, because you can be fast right where the groove is, or when I'm saying groove, the where you can see that the racetrack is darker. You can be fast right there, or if you look up the way a little bit, right where the 43 is, just to the outside of that painted groove, there's some speed to be found up there as well. You'll see I will actually go up there with the 43, and you can carry some pretty good momentum down the straights if you run up there. One thing I do notice though, if you do go up there for a long period of time, your tires do fall off a little bit quicker than if you. And you see me getting the wall again. See, the 3 didn't do a good job of knocking that wall back for me. But your tires will fall off a little bit quicker if you run that high side of the racetrack. And so now I'm at the back of this field. So I'm to 12th place now. And the car is just continuously just getting worse and worse as the run goes on. The aerodynamic effects were pretty substantial. I mean, the whole back end of the car is ripped off. So that wasn't good. And then I hit the wall a couple times, which made it even worse. And then the tire fall off made those aerodynamic effects even worse. So, see the 4 clips the apron in front of me. It's going to give me a little bit of a run here. But I know that I've got green flag stops coming up here. So some of these guys I'm going to be able to get just by having a clean stop or via strategy. So see here, going around the racetrack, back end of the cars completely ripped off. 3 and 4 here at this version of the track is really strange because it's actually turn 4 specifically, because it's kind of got this weird kink to it, and you can it's very easy for you just to drive too low into the corner and clip the apron. So see the 43 drifts up the track here, gets into the 037 and nearly takes me out. So here I am, wreck avoidance, king of the world today. But after a pretty good long run there, we have a little bit of a mistake and a caution. But the good thing is, with the field spread out and single file, it ended up being just really a single car spin. Come in and get tires, everybody on pretty much the same strategy here. And we will restart, and I think 12th, yeah, or 10th. So just made up a couple spots. Outside lane, not the best on restarts here. It was kind of one of the tracks where you had to start on the inside, get a good run, and then slide up to the outside by the time you got to turn 3. I think that's probably the best way to do it, go about it. As you see there, we got about 37 or so, 37 laps to go. Lap 71 of 107, and we're running 11th. So this is probably the last green flag run we're going to have. I'm about 7 or 6 laps short at this point on fuel, and I thought for maybe a minute I could save and try to make it to the end. I tried to save as much as I could, but it kind of just turned into, well, I'm going to get to about 4 laps of fuel short, and from there it kind of leveled off. I wasn't able to get or save more than that, so I was going to be about 4 laps short no matter what I did here. So I just kind of trailed on to the back end of this pack, and it was hard for me to keep up with the cars that had less damage. It's just kind of the way it was. And I would just keep trucking on. So already with 73 laps to go, I'm thinking I've got to run this thing as far as I possibly can. I'm not going to gain any more spots, really. I'm in 11th of the 13 cars running at this point. The 43 had pretty heavy damage after his spin. The 29, I think, had lost a gear or 2, or 3, I think. He might have lost everything but 4th. So he's a ways back, and it's going to be hard for him to keep up, especially with no one to really draft with. So it's going to be hard for us to move up through the field without some type of strategy here. You see the leaders are already a half straightaway ahead of us. We hadn't ran that many green flag laps in this run yet. Pretty dicey up in front of us, and I was watching that closely. It's going to allow us to close up a little bit more to this pack. So here on lap 75 of 107, the strategy's kind of become ride in line, save a little fuel, try to make it as long as we can, and hope for a late race caution. With the cars remaining the way that everyone was kind of driving and the time gaps between everybody, once we got to that first set of green flag stops, it's probably going to be a stretch to have a late race caution, but you never know. So you got to keep on trucking and get what you can get. And if you did have a late race caution, that could put us in position, because you're probably going to trap a lot of these guys a lap down, and tires didn't mean a lot here. Even just 5 laps or 6 laps of tire wear, I mean, you were dropping off 2-3 tenths, which on a track of this size and this fast, 3 tenths is a lot of time. So see the 4 get up in the wall there. He did that thing with that weird kink in turn 4 where he hit the apron and then it shot him off the track. So I had to maneuver around him there. It's kind of hard to pass here, kind of like most mile and a halves with a fixed setup. There's usually a lot of riding around and just waiting for the guy in front to kind of make a mistake or something of that nature. If you're a lot faster than someone, you can get by pretty easily, or if someone just burns their stuff up, you can get by. But if you're really close on time with someone, it's going to be difficult to pass on these mile and a halves, and that's just part of it. And sometimes that can make it fun and challenging as a driver, as long as it doesn't get too frustrating, or it doesn't become impossible to pass but on one lane, kind of like the Truck Series race happened or did the other day, where you could only get to the outside, and if someone did get to your outside, the battle was already over before it began. So here it was pretty fun to race, because you could pass to the inside and hold it down there. You could pass to the outside if you had a little bit of draft help. So it was pretty fun and challenging to pass. and to race when you had a decent car. If I had all the fenders on mine, I believe I would have been able to do a little bit better. Probably be up there around where the 9 or the 30 is, as opposed to being relegated to the back of this train. So we're up in 10th, about 4.5 seconds back of the lead. The leaders are, well, in another area code, about 3 seconds ahead of everyone else in this little train. So, still thinking long run strategy. For me, it's going to be pretty much impossible for me to run good lap times without the help of cars in front of me to draft. You can see just having to play with the throttle as the tires wear here. So I'm going to have to take some time out on the racetrack, just running laps and hoping for a caution. So I'm doing what I like to call the Jimmy Johnson strategy, or I guess it's the Chad Knauf strategy. Maybe you could even attribute that to Paul Wolfe, because he does that with Brad Keselowski quite a bit. Just kind of leaves him on the racetrack and hopes for a caution. That's what we're doing here. Not really much else to say throughout this portion of the race. We're just kind of riding in line. You can hear me on the throttle really lifting, getting in the corners. Was able to carry some momentum that way and gain a little bit of time. The 9 doing some wizardly things up there, jumping all over the track. And that happens from time to time. Online racing, you get some lag. Doesn't look like it's too big of a deal, though. It's kind of gone away pretty quickly. But the number 9 is a wizard confirmed. Maybe we'll add him to my pit crew, who fixed my right side without touching it earlier in the race. 43, he's down on power. We'll go by him. So now, as the tires have really started to wear, you can see I'm okay down the straights with the draft, but it's struggling a bit in the corners with the lack of downforce and the lack of tire grip. So experiencing a loss of grip, both aerodynamically and from a downforce side of things, and from the tire wear side of things. So they're going to start to gain some time on me here. 6 seconds back of the lead. Third place car's 5 seconds back of the lead, which is the 84 car, and I believe it's the 30 now. So third place is right up there, even though we've got some significant damage. I don't think we'll be able to drive up there. Well, no, we won't be able to drive up there with our damage, but it's not that far away. So we're running in 10th here. 20 or so laps to go. See, the 50 car bails for pit road, the 9 bails for pit road. And we're going to get a pretty big run here on the 37. It's extra draft. We were in his wake, but we were a long way back, so that allowed us to have a huge draft. 37 slow here through the corners, maybe experience some tire fall off. We'll dive it to the inside of him. Hopefully we can keep it down here. Looks like we pull off the slide job. And now we'll try to get back up there to the 3 car. So we're up to 7th at this point. 7.5 seconds back of the lead. and it's going to be hard for us to gain a whole lot at this point. So you see the 30, I believe he's coming to pit road, and 3 makes some evasive maneuvers around him, and then he'll dive to pit road. So now we got 2 cars up in front of us, and now I'm back to 5th, at least momentarily, through these cycle pit stops. And you'll hear me, I'm trying to save a little bit more as the run goes on. I was kind of stuck in a spot where for a minute there I thought I could maybe save another couple laps and try to make it to the end, but it was just leveling off at 4 laps. It wouldn't go below that, and I was trying everything I could to try to save just a few more laps, but it wasn't happening. So I think the 84 is going to be the last car to come to pit road of the lead lap cars. And you see we're kind of gaining on him a little bit with the help of the draft. The front of the car was pretty good, so the drafting effects were still in play for me. I was able to draft up to people. I just really wasn't able to pull out a line or make any moves in the corners because the car was super loose. So 84 kind of scared me there. I didn't know whether he was going to lose it or not. So you'll see me, I'm almost running half throttle right now. And we're up to 3rd, 9.5 seconds back, so we're quite a long ways back. The 4 is kind of doing the same thing I am. He's 13 seconds back, so he's more or less 4 seconds behind me. So we're here 12 laps away from the finish, 11 laps away from the finish. You see me, I cut the car off there. Just kind of let it coast all the way through the corner. Like I said, I was doing anything and everything just to try to get it under being 4 laps short, especially when it looked like I was going to nab the lead. So run at half throttle, running pretty slow. And now I am the leader, 4 seconds back of me, or 2 seconds back of me, excuse me, is the 4. He's on the same strategy I am. We've got to cycle around here to see where the 22 and the 910 are, because that's 1st and 2nd, effectively. At this point, I'm running on old tires, and my bed has kind of been made. So there's the 22. So they're 30 seconds behind, but they're going to close that up fairly quickly, given the speed difference and then me trying to save fuel. And then doesn't look like I'm going to make it. So 9 laps to go. And it's almost sad because you're leading the race, but you know that you can't make it, and you're just hoping, praying for a caution. So I'm going to go way to the high side here, let the 30 go by, let the 3 go by. I don't want to get in anyone's way. I've lost so much time to the people in front. There's no reason for me to race them hard, and there's not really a chance that I'm going to make up any time, even when I take no tires here. 7 laps to go in the race. I see that I am going to be short, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pit here to make sure that I can make it to the end. Try to get the best finish I can. The 4 is going to follow me down pit row. and he's going to take tires. So that's going to really be the difference in our strategy. So I'm just going to come down here, take a quick half a can of fuel to get it to the end. You see me try to get off pit road as quickly as possible here. He's taken 2 tires or 4 tires. I'm not exactly sure how many he took. I think it was 4 because I come out about 10 seconds ahead with just 6 laps to go. This will show you really the rate, the closing rate of what 4 tires will do for you here. So I'll come out. I think I end up cycling around in 10th, where I figured that's probably where I would be after this strategy if nothing happened. But it was really the only chance I had to finish anywhere but 10th. So here we come. Round to cycle through. You'll see me, yep, back in 10th place. 037 is 11.95 seconds back of the lead. I'm 16.98 seconds back of the lead. I took no tires, so I knew that was not. I wasn't going to catch 9th place, and I knew that. I was kind of going for either I'm going to get a top 5 with that strategy, or I'm going to be back in 10th. So really didn't have much to lose by doing that. So I'm falling farther and farther behind. You see the difference between me and the 4 is about 9 seconds. And we've just got a few laps to go here. So we'll try to keep the tires on it for a few more laps. Lap 104 of 107. He's 27.62 back. So he didn't close the gap to the leaders at all, but it's closing the gap to me. So I'm 19.84. So that's a difference of about 8 seconds. So he's gaining a second or so a lap. So you'll see, and it only gets worse. So I dropped off 2 seconds there, so I'm 21.3. And he's maintaining pace with the leaders. So that's now a 6-second gap. So he's gained almost 2 seconds on that lap. But there's only 2 to go. And I'm really nursing it at this point. All my tires are yellow. You can see it's sliding through the corners. Try to get us on the same page of the standings there. So now it's down to 5 seconds. But thankfully we're on the last lap. So you see the flag man in turn 3 waving the white flag like a maniac. I will take the white flag right here. So now we're on the final lap of the race, and it's down to a 3-second gap, but don't think he's going to have enough time to catch us. Going to let the 29 go. I think he had 4th gear, so he was fairly quick once he got up to speed. It's just hard to maintain any sort of pace without the draft. So we'll come through and finish the race about 2 seconds ahead of the number 4 car. And we will use our strategy to get a top 10. And that's honestly about the best that we were going to do there, given our damage. So pretty exciting ending, I would say. Never really had a real chance to win with the fuel mileage, but it was interesting to see how it played out. You see me pulling my piston up here. Thought the race was overall not as bad as it appeared. The cautions early sucked for some people, and they ended their days. Ultimately ended up benefiting us a little bit for all those cautions to happen, at least initially. Then we got caught up in one, kind of put us in the position we were later in this one. But it wasn't too bad. We finally did get a long green flag run, and those are always a blast on NR2003, especially these tracks where the tires fall off and you get some fuel mileage and fuel strategy mixed in there with that. So it ended up being not that bad of a race. And hopefully the next Saturday's race will be a little bit more tame in the early portions or early stages. So that's going to do it for me today. Got an upload coming probably on Wednesday or Thursday. The TDR truck series will probably be the upload on Thursday. Actually, no, never mind. We are off this week. So no truck race on Thursday. I think we might have one on Wednesday that will be uploaded there for a race that I'm going to do on Tuesday. We got a full week of racing for the most part coming at you, and we got another race in the TDR Cup Series next Saturday. So that'll be fun. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's been quite a long one, and I had to cut this down, like I said, for about hour 30, 40 minutes or so. So thanks for sticking around if you have, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.